So this is the agenda. We already discussed this particular piece. So this is a question we will be addressing throughout this course. These are the example of a computer, or what we can, or some of the things we can call as a computer, your smartphone, your laptop, Raspberry Pi, VirtualBox, VM. Some of these things you might not have heard about, but as a matter of fact, the TV, fridge, etc. sitting in your room could be a computer, potentially a computer. Especially the TV these days that definitely have a computer inside and operating system, etc.
Question.
Yeah. Yep.
Can you make it a bit clear that how a TV or fridge becomes a computer?
Yeah, sure. So how a TV and a fridge become a computer. So TV and fridge is not computer in the traditional way that we use it as a computer, but it has operating system installed. For example, nowadays TV can play Netflix or any streaming applications for that matter. To play such advanced HTTP protocol and advanced protocols, you need to have a microprocessor and you need to have an operating system installed in a TV. So the TV is not programmable for us. For the end user, it's not programmable, but it is definitely programmable, and you can install application by the manufacturer. And if you look, sometimes the TV get firmware updates, which means that it updates its own software, which means that there is a computer inside a TV. Our fridge also has a firmware. Most of the recent fridge, not the old ones, so they also have a firmware installed. So anything which has either a firmware or a software proper operating system like Android, Windows, Linux can be potentially called as a computer. So we'll see what is a computer and what defines a computer. Yeah, this is a more difficult question. What is not a computer? These days most of the electronic items has a microprocessor or microcontroller in it. Probably the toaster, iron box, nice simple old school calculator is not really a computer. It doesn't act as a computer, although it still has a firmware. Probably the microwave is not a full-fledged computer. We never know. That brings us to the question, so what makes something a computer? Does this mic a computer? Does this light a computer? The single word answer is programmability. If you can write program for a device, it is potentially a computer. So what that means? So programs are nothing but instructions to the computer. So if the computer can behave differently based on the instructions you're giving, we can say that it is technically programmable. So the concept of programming is similar to molding a clay. The computer hardware, which is the CPU, the stuff we're going to build in this chapter, it is like a clay which is not molded yet. To use the clay, you need to mold the clay into something useful, like a brick or a pot or something else. Similar to that, computer hardware by itself, it's not very useful. You need to mold it. You need to write software for it. That is the high level 1,000-kilometer view of programmability. And we're going to see the detail pretty soon. Probably we will be dealing with programming by the end of the chapter 3. These are the parts of a computer. These are the parts which we're going to deal today on this chapter. So we're gonna have most of this item listed in this part by part. Before that, let's draw a quick diagram to see how all these parts fits into the equation. Center of everything, we have a single computer chip or a silicon chip called central processing unit, CPU. So let's draw that here. So we have the CPU in the center. And rest of the things which I'm going to draw is one way or the other is going to support CPU. CPU is like an engine to a car. Everything else, the wheel, steering, everything is pretty much using the engine of the car in one way or the other, right? Next, most important part is memory. So we have the memory here. Memory stores data, like the name says. Next part we would like to put here is the disk or the secondary storage. Disk is also a type of memory. We will explain the difference between disk and computer memory. By the way, computer memory is also called RAM. So let me put that out. It is also called RAM or random access memory. It's also called RAM. we drawn CPU, memory, disk. Now next is different devices like keyboard, mouse, graphics card, all the devices. So let's draw that. So we have a keyboard here, mouse, then the graphics card, different USB devices. All these different devices, including the disk, they are not really directly connected to the CPU. They are connected through a set of wires called bus. So bus has something called bus controller. We're gonna see all these things in reality. Let me draw a bus controller. This is a bus controller. Keyboard, mouse, graphics card, USB. Yeah, there could be other devices like, network card, this card, that card, sound card. There could be any number of devices. All these devices will have two-way communication. They communicate with the CPU. So they are connected like this. And this is also connected to the controller, and CPU is connected to the bus controller. So this is how the overall view of a computer system. All this thing is powered through DC power source, which we're going to see as well. All these things sit in a PCB, electronic circuit board, called motherboard. So let's draw that motherboard. So as you can see here, the motherboard is till the end of the bus controller. So all the other devices are sitting outside. Our graphics card is kind of plugged into the motherboard, but it's not part of the motherboard. It's just plugged outside. Definitely keyboard and mouse, monitor, all those devices are plugged outside motherboard. Let me write motherboard. Yeah. This is a picture of a CPU. This is how it looks. Hardly it is the size of my PAM. We're going to see a very similar CPU pretty soon. So this is how a modern chip looks, with a lot of the bottom part you're seeing is the pin. The spiky thing you're seeing is the pin. Inside that it is a circuit and integrated circuits. Let's play a quick video. It's an ad of a modern CPU from AMD. So let's have a quick look into it. This is how the new AMD CPU looks. So why I'm showing this particular video is, even if you buy a CPU, you can't see what you're seeing right now in the screen. So this is the internal component of the CPU itself. And this is how it plugs into the motherboard, the CPU. And in the background, what you're seeing is the motherboard. I recommend you watch the video in YouTube, because it's a very high resolution video. I don't know at what resolution you are watching this right now. Yeah, that is how a CPU looks. Let's get back to the slides. So what a CPU does? CPU does pretty much all the computing. The rest of the course, we're gonna focus on the CPU.